welcome to Hoops and Horses. This episode is meant for the races on December 21st, 2024. I'm CC Broaddus, and I'm joined with his ugly sweater, Trey Server. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hello, welcome.
And getting dunked on by a 500-pound jockey is Dan Cronin, the leader of FBG Nation, FatBallGuyRacing.com. Hello, Dan.
How you guys doing? I'm going to keep switching these backgrounds every week just for fun.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah. That guy is that's a trip right there. That dude, he's multitasking, I guess. He won a race and he goes up and scores two for the home team. All right, guys. As always, we want to invite you to like and subscribe our show. It's on obviously you're watching this on YouTube, so hit the like or subscribe button. Leave a comment below on who you like this coming weekend, and hopefully somebody will score and take some money home for Christmas shopping, I guess. So before we get to the races, though, let's hear a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back. All right. Let's take a look at the weather for the weekend. First, let's start in New Orleans, Louisiana, the fairgrounds, 54 degrees and sunny. Looks like no threat of rain at the fairground. That's good news for their big day on Saturday. Gulfstream Park, another big day, plenty of stakes races, plenty of wide open events, 70 degrees, mostly sunny, and it does not appear to be a threat of rain there either. Now, Turfway, on the other hand, is going to be cold again, 32 degrees, partly cloudy. Again, no threat of rain. Maybe you want to stay indoors for this one. But regardless, it's a great weekend of racing, guys. And for me, I think the bulk of my play will be at the fairgrounds. They've got a lovely card with the Gunrunner Stakes, and just about every division is being represented in some of those stakes races on Saturday. All right, let's go to Gulfstream first. And Dan likes a horse here early on in the card in race number 3. Dan, tell us about your selection in race number 3 at Gulfstream.
Yeah, I like it when I think a Pletcher firster is going to be a decent price, and I think Tucson's going to be every bit of 7-2, 4-1. It's a WinStar, draws the 9-hole. And we watched the workout. It's on XBTV, and I don't know how good or bad the workmate is, but he just demolished that workmate and did it easy, was not trying. Looked like he was getting faster as the race was going on, but it also looked like he's a little hard on himself. Not that he compares to Barbaro, but his action was a lot like Barbaro, where he's really getting into the ground. So I could see why he hasn't run yet, going into his 3-year-old, almost, 4-year-old season, because he's probably very hard on himself, and they probably have a tough time keeping him, very sound. So, I look at it this way. There's not a lot in here. The 1 and 2 are going to be the big favorites. The one stuck on the fence going 6.5. You get Irad, that horse is going to be 2-1. And Wiz Tucky's going to take money too, because people are such buyer number people these days. They're going to stare at that 81 and 84 and think, well, gosh, I got to take him. So we might be third choice in here, at least second choice. And if this horse can run at all, he's going to give a good account of himself. And I'll take $7 or $8 on a Pletcher. And all I can tell you is go watch the work.
This is a half brother to Kamari, who was a fast filly for Wesley Ward, a Grade 1 winner, won the Madison Stakes. And a lot's expected of this colt, I would think. They paid $1.3 million for this horse at auction at Keeneland, September. So all eyes on Tucson, it appears. And let's move on now. That was race 3 at Gulfstream. Now we're going to go to race 6. Trey likes a horse in here. Let's take a look at this race. This is a maiden special weight on the grass for 2-year-olds going a mile and 16th. Trey, take it away.
Yeah, so my top pick in this race is Cypher, second time starter, number 9. When I did the handicapping of this race, I didn't have the odds out yet, and I noticed this evening that they came out 2-1 on the morning line. Might be a little short for my liking, but like I said, coming back out of an aqueduct race on the grass, got squeezed at the start, ran third or fourth most of the race. The top 2 went gate to wire, kind of a merry-go-round race. And this horse was on the wrong lead, had his head tilted. Kinder Carmouche rode that day, and really could never get the horse to just kind of hand rode him to the wire just because he, like I said, couldn't really keep him straight at all. So I'm hoping Irad jumps on. The horse has a little bit more maturity and has a nice stalking trip, and this time gets to the wire first.
I've got this horse as number 10 instead of number.
Oh, I'm sorry, number 10. Okay, maybe I looked at it wrong.
Yeah. So and then you get a jockey switch to Irad Ortiz, and we all know by now that he owns Gulfstream, and you're going to get the best of rides, it would appear. Okay, Trey likes number 10, Cypher at Gulfstream. Let's go to race number 7. Looks like an optional claiming allowance here. 7 furlongs on the dirt for the fillies and mares. And is this Trey again? Are you coming back with this one, or is this Dan? Dan, I think
I'm at Turfway now.
Yeah,
okay, this is Dan.
I got shocked a little bit by the morning line. I thought they might make the 1 favorite morning line off them 2 just blowout wins, and she might end up being the favorite anyway. But people love to see all those 1s, especially weekend bettors. They get in, they pick up the form or the program, and they see 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, win by 5, win by 8. They're going to bet on the 1. So I'm thinking our price is going to hold here on the 8. I thought the 8 would be 2-1, 2.5. So 8-5 was a little disappointing. But we do go from Zayas to Irad. So unfortunately, price wise at least. But you got Saffy Joseph. You got a horse that's probably going to make an easy lead. If not, he's going to just be sitting there gathered in hand waiting to go. I think Here's the Kicker is a complete single in these later races, and I'm going to start off all my late bets with a single right here on Here's the Kicker, the 8. And if I get around 8-5 to 2-1, I'll bet straight. If not, I'll just single him in the pick 5.
All right, Here's the Kicker was beaten last time, October 26th, by Ruthless Rua, who was a filly I was always high on, but I never could cash a ticket on her. And suddenly she changes barns, and she won that race at Gulfstream. Then she comes to Churchill and wins again. So no shame in losing the Ruthless Rua now. So I completely understand going for the single there. All right, that's enough for Gulfstream. Now we're going to take a flight to New Orleans, Louisiana, and talk about the fairgrounds and a great card. I am going to be involved in the late pick 5 and late pick 4, but a race before that is the Gunrunner Stakes. That's race number 7. And it might be too early to call this a great race just yet, but this race has some potential. And Dan likes a horse in here. Let's talk about, Dan, who you like in the Gunrunner Stakes.
Well, I can just tell you that Admiral Dennis was one of the biggest tips I've ever gotten in the Brad Cox barn that didn't win. Most of them win. When my dad gets on me when one of them loses, I'll say, Dad, I've told you 10 horses, 7 of them have won. What do you want? They're not all going to win. It is horse racing, but when the Cox people say bet, the horse is usually really good. And Florent Giroux just butchered him. I mean, there's no other way to say it. Broke bad, checked, was in all kinds of traffic, finally got out and run a solid third, comes back going a mile and broke right on the pace from the 9 hole. And unfortunately that day was 3-5, so we couldn't get anything. But win as easy as you could win. He's bred to be any kind. They paid $400,000. The Allball family's always looking for Derby horses, and it's odd, as you guys know, that that they got a horse with Cox and the horse isn't with Romans. So I don't know what happened there, but I just think this one's got the most potential of anybody in here. Probably going to stalk right behind Jose Ortiz on the 3 Magnitude for Winchell and Steve Asmussen. The 1, I guess, has a little chance built. The 2 is going to try to come from way downtown, and we caught him second time out. But I didn't like his race in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. I know it was a really good race, a lot of good horses in there, but I just didn't like the way he finished. So I'm going for Admiral Dennis. He's the single to me in those middle legs. And I'll just leave it at that. If he gets beat, then he's just not what I thought and not what the Cox barn thought, and we'll just deal with it.
All right. Yeah. There's some interesting players in here. Number 1, Built, is actually built for 2 turns, you would think, just looking at his pedigrees, by Hard Spun, who was second in the Kentucky Derby, and out of a mare by Curlin, who was 4th in that same Kentucky Derby. So I would expect this horse to be able to stretch out. Number 3, Magnitude of Sun, Not This Time, was I thought was impressive in that 4th start in that optional claiming allowance race where he held off California Burrito, and it was 15 lengths back to Iron Sharpens Iron in 3rd. And that horse had just broken his maiden try. I think it was one of those maiden $100,000 races at Keeneland. So those 2 were much the best in there. So yeah, it's a fun race. Maybe not take too low of a price on Admiral Dennis, but yeah, that horse is going to take a lot of beating. And looking at Admiral Dennis's race at Churchill, that 3rd horse, Monet's Magic, came back to win for Ben Colebrook at a big price in his next start. So that race already productive. So fun race. Looking forward to the Gunrunner Stakes. Let's move on now. We're going to go to race number 11. Dan again has a horse in here, and I agree with him on this filly, and a filly with a future, I think. So let's talk about Golden Gamble, Dan.
Yeah, I think the people that follow us will remember this one. I mean, we did videos and sent it to everybody, begging everybody to bet on her. She was, I think, 9-2 or 4-1 on the book against Girl Math in her second start. And if you watch the replay of her first start, you had to know that with the rider change, with the experience, she was going to really move forward. Now, I didn't know she'd move that far forward. But man, oh man, I mean, she won as easy and as throttled down as you could possibly get. And I don't think there's anything in here any better than Girl Math. So, I mean, if she throttled Girl Math, I mean, maybe California Sunset will be able to get her again, but she got the best ride last time, the best trip, while Golden Gamble was just getting butchered. I think Golden Gamble is going to sit in that pocket about, 3rd and just really be really tough in here. The 1 Stable Currency's got a chance. California Sunset's got a chance because it's a Brad Cox. And then Amarth with Saez for Eddie Keneally's got a chance, but she's got to get faster. I mean, her numbers are just not fast enough yet. But, they're 2-year-olds. They get better. But to me, this is all about Kenny McPeak and how good he is with fillies, especially young fillies. And I know they're really high on her, and I think she can run all day long. I think she's going to really show herself on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree with you. This filly looks like she could be anything. And yeah, to me, she's a single, and it's either her or all, because as we all know, 2-year-old fillies can improve overnight. Lightly raced 2-year-old fillies can improve overnight, and there's not a lot of experience in here. So yeah, Golden Gamble for me at Fairgrounds race 11. Now they've got one more race at Fairgrounds, race number 12. This is a maiden special weight going 2 turns. Trey likes a horse in here that's starting in the parking lot. Trey, what are we going to do here?
Oh,
Yeah, so they started almost in the parking lot in the first race at the 11 hole at Keeneland. Now they're starting in the 12 hole, and that's Cromwell. Second time starter for Sherry DeVoe. Ran a 66 buyer figure the first time out. I feel like that's got some room for improvement. Could have quit basically from the 11 hole, but kept coming. The 1, the 3, and the 5 are all going to take money. 8-1 on the morning line. I just have a feeling that, like I said, Sherry's second time getting Jose might be able to get a stalking trip and get the job done. That even though we're breaking from the parking lot, it doesn't scare me as much at the Fairgrounds as it would anywhere else.
this colt is a half brother to Arabian Night, who won the Pacific Classic in the Southwest Stakes for Bob Baffert a few years ago. Ran third
I
in the
feel pretty
Haskell,
good then.
fourth in the Breeders' Cup Classic. This guy, if he gets a trip, he should be salty in here. There's a bunch in here I like, though. Gosh, this is like a smorgasbord of prospects. Number 11, Native Runner, in here is a horse that I liked last time versus Patch Adams. And Patch Adams nearly set a track record when breaking his maiden at Churchill. Native Runner didn't lift a hoof in that start, but before that, he showed that like he might have a little promise. So Native Runner is a horse I like to use. The son of Leoban. I think the Leobans, what's left of them, will run well going forward. But yeah, tough race here. Tough race. You're going to get your price, I think, on Cromwell at 8-1. So good luck to you there. Okay. One more racetrack to cover. We're going to talk about Turfway. Turfway's got a delicious card Saturday night, like they always do. Trey has a play. Trey's play. Let's talk about Trey's play at, I think we're starting in race number 5 and going into race number 6. Tell us about your play.
Yeah, so race number 5. There's 3 horses that I like in there, but the one horse I want to focus on right now is number 4, I believe, Sweet Freedom at 6-1. Ran last in the turf at Keeneland. Finished 4th, I believe, in that race. Was the 2-hole or the 2 horse that race. The winner of that race went gate to wire. He was stuck on the rail the whole time. I think he could have a chance in here. Excuse me. I am going to play a daily double, the 4, the 5, and the 11, because in the next race, race 6, is a horse that we all remember and I know we all love, and that's Epic Ride for John Ennis. I think this horse is a stone cold cinch. Loves Turfway in the synthetic. Ran 2nd in the Battaglia last year before running 3rd in the Bluegrass, and then going on to the Derby. Ran once so far coming back this year. I think it was at Charlestown maybe, or up there, and ran decent. Now it gets back to preferred surface, and so I'm going to try to crush a little daily double here. 4, 5, 11 with Epic Ride.
Hey,
Now,
hey, CC, who's doing the morning lines now at Turfway?
I was going to bring that up. I don't know. I don't know who's doing it, but I
thought it
know
was a misprint. I thought it was 2-5, not 2-1.
well, he should be 2-5, right?
I think he will. I mean, he's almost got to be.
He will be. Yeah, he will
If
be.
he's 2-1, I swear I will deposit every dollar I can into XB Select that I can find until I'm maxed, and then I'll bet on him. There's no way this horse could possibly be 2-1. He stands out completely.
I mean, if you're trying to beat him, I mean, I think it'd be a long shot. Bow Street was a really nice prospect back in the day, and he's not fared well in his last 2 starts. He lost at 4-1 at Indiana, and I just can't see it. And then the other one would be Covey, the son of Frankel, who makes his first start in over a year for Michael McCarthy, and that barn does really well and is having a really nice go as of late. So, yeah, this is all about Epic Ride. I think all the tickets are going to go to him. That 2-1 is garbage in my book.
Yep.
Well, at least I found somebody you guys finally agree with me on.
That's a stone cold single in the late pick 5, I think. Now, let's talk some basketball, talk some college basketball. First, we're going to go to Cincinnati to watch Marquette play at Xavier. Dan, what do you like about this game?
Well, I think Xavier got their hearts ripped out last night at UConn. I mean, they played as good as they could play without their best player. Fremantle's out indefinitely, and they just couldn't have played any better and still lost right at the buzzer in overtime. So they're coming back home. You'd think they could regroup, but they still don't have Fremantle, and Marquette, to me at least, is better than UConn. And I think because of the Cintas home court, that spread's going to be close. It's going to be a couple points either way, probably Marquette favored by a few, but I think Marquette's just going to win. I just think they're better. I don't think Xavier can make 13 threes again like they did last night. I know that we call it the Cintas Magic when they pull off some crazy wins, but I don't see it. I think Marquette's way better than them. And you guys know it's rare when I take a road team in college basketball, except early in the season, it's really rare. But I think Marquette's just way better than them right now.
Are we talking spread or just a straight money line bet?
Well, it depends on what the spread comes out. I mean, if it's anywhere under 2, 3, I just go ahead and take, lay the points. Now, if it would come out 6.5 or something, then I just, make some kind of teaser parlay with Marquette as a money line type bet. Yeah, I wouldn't give Xavier 6 or 7 or 8 points or something crazy, but I think that spread is going to be very close.
Ken Palm has it a 4-point difference.
That don't surprise me. I figured it'd be somewhere in that 2 to 4 range.
All right. Our second game, Wake Forest at a surprisingly good Clemson team this year. Wake Forest at Clemson.
Yeah, I think Clemson's 10 points better at home. They're not a very good road team. I bet against them at South Carolina the other night in their rivalry game, and they almost pulled it off. I mean, they played very well, and South Carolina tried everything humanly possible to lose, up by 7 with a minute to play, and we went to overtime. How does that happen? And then they were up 7 again in overtime and had to win at the buzzer. But Clemson just kept hanging in, and they've got a couple things that you can't teach. They got leadership, they got rebounding. I think Clemson's just better than them at home, and I think Clemson will win. And again, I think the spread will be small. I don't think it'll be that big. I'm hoping it's under 6, and Clemson runs away and wins by 10 or 12.
Ken Palm has that as a 12-point advantage.
Yeah, if it's 12, then again, it'll be a money line parlay for me. I don't like laying that many points.
23rd best home court advantage in Division One. So
yeah, they're really good at home.
Wow. And of course, the last game of our triple header, Purdue at Auburn.
Well, I just found out that Auburn's best player is not playing. I guess I've been too busy handicapping horses and didn't know. But yeah, I put that.
Shoulder injury. He popped his shoulder out in the other game the other
And
night.
I guess they're going to sit him a couple games or something. But he's not out long. But apparently he's not going to play. But I don't like Purdue's team. I love Matty McCool, but I just don't like Purdue's team this year. I just don't think they're athletic enough. They don't have big wings that can get to the rim. They don't have athletic wings that can defend. I think Auburn's going to score 90 points, and I don't think Purdue can score over 70 or 75. Even without Broom, I think Auburn's going to win easy, and I think the spread will be affected a lot with him not playing. So I would still bet on Auburn unless it's 15 or something.
Ken Palm has it at 11.
Yeah, and they'll probably lower that because the kid's not playing. So I mean, if it's 7.5, I'd take Auburn.
Yeah, that's Janai Broom. That we're on the same page here.
Yes,
that's the one that's out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. According to Ken Palm, he is the front runner for Ken Palm Player of the Year on his based on his stats. So he is an important player to them. But,
yes, he is.
Well, he just had 2020, so he should.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. But that home court with them people screaming and yelling, Purdue really struggled last time they went on the road. They could not get a basket, and I think it's going to happen again. They're just going to turn it over. They're not going to be able to score, and Auburn's going to score no matter who's on the floor. They always score.
All right. Well, that's that. That's all we've got for this Saturday. Unless Trey has something. Trey, you've got a long shot or something to get us out of the hole on Saturday, basketball wise.
I don't, but I just wanted to say my condolences to the Rapoli stable and Todd Pletcher et al. They lost a good one today in Uncle Mo. So I just wanted to, like I said, say that we're all thinking about you. He was a great horse, and unfortunately, he's gone too soon.
Yeah, Uncle Mo won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and was one of the favorites in that Kentucky Derby the following year, but he had some type of illness and forced him to miss it. But and then he turned out to be a great stallion. So yeah, that's a shame. Rest in peace, Uncle Mo. All right, that's all. We want to remind everybody to like and subscribe our show on YouTube. And like we always say, leave a comment in the messages below and tell us who you like on Saturday. I want to remind everybody, go to fatballguyracing.com and check out what Dan has. He's covering all the tracks this weekend, and well, there's a lot of action. No excuse to get involved. Just show some discipline. You don't have to bet every race. Just pick your spots and fire your best shot. So that's all I have, and we'll sign off on behalf of Dan, Cronin, Trey, Server. I'm CC Broaddus, reminding you that gambling money ain't got no home.